Hi, Carolyn. So here is a video review for coaching call number 9. So we'll get started with some back lap turns. So here, I would just pause, make sure the anticipation comes up because she didn't have a lot of tension in her body when she went. So it's leading to a couple of steps of kind of walking. But her turn there is beautiful. So she's reading the turn away really nicely. That was no issue. So again, just put a little pause. That will help her tense up before she goes, but she's landing nicely on the slice. That's no issue for her at all. So just moving a little bit farther over. No problem. Her lead change is really nice there. Good, nice engagement in between. Nice, and your foot position's really good there, so you're actually showing it with your body as well, which is awesome. Good, nice engagement. Good. She was watching up at your hand a little bit there, so I would just bring your hand slightly lower. She just kind of brought her head up in the air on that one. Good. That was nice. And again, put a little bit of a pause in between if you can. So even here, so the behaviors are good, but the more anticipation you can build, the snappier those behaviors tend to be. Nice. But yeah, she's reading this no problem. That was good. So that was a little bit of a pause. We're really just looking for her to have that explosive movement forward because she tends to pick up speed as she goes versus driving really hard. That one was nice. So right there, I'm going to go back for a moment because that was perfect. So here, creating that anticipation, when she goes to move, she's got that little bit of a punch to her. It's that little bit of a tensing up and then moving quickly. So that's nice. Good, nice disengagement from the treat there. Good, and you can play around too with just doing like little pulses, like little twitches, and see if she mirrors you. That's often a way that I will help my dog tune into my body language. So even right before you release her, just kind of tense up for a second and then go. And that will tend to create that explosiveness forward that we're looking for. Okay, so here we're working on some get outs. A little fixated on the treat and train. So just connecting her back. That's already a little bit better. She's already unlocked her eye. So that was nicer. And then here, if you find that she's a little bit stuck there, you can actually go up a little bit closer to the treat and train while she's going to it. And then that usually will encourage them to come back. That was a lovely redirect. So really like how quick her front legs moved over on that one. And great engagement there. So that was super nice. Good tension. Very good. It's like, why is there a pause on the machine? My guys get so impatient with that. So that was nice. Good, really nice reaction there, and she's loading really well. So she's really powering from her rear on that example, which is awesome. So good engagement. And then good girl. So nice, I really like how quickly she's moving over. So she's definitely got that element of it, which is great. Here, just to point out, you're getting into come back, do one behavior, get a reward immediately. So just watch your reinforcement rate that it's not 100% predictable, because then when you have to do more behaviors with less reward, they tend to quit a little bit easier. So you just want to vary when you're rewarding. Good, she had to think about that one. Her head was definitely on the jump, but she changed her mind, which was great. It's amazing how much they'll stare at it. waiting for the treats to come. That's why I call it the crack machine. Good, very nice. She's so funny. Good. And again, that's that same routine of come back, leg weave, get the cookie. So disconnect back. Good. Yeah, that was better. And it's okay if they make some mistakes on this one. I just call them back, get a behavior to kind of erase it a little bit. And again, that's just the predictable reward of leg weave, get the cookie. Good, that was nice. One thing I would just add there is right before you send her, I would tend to look down just to help move that shoulder over. You don't have to do that, and you can proof it without, absolutely. I just like to teach myself to get in the habit of looking at the dog's path that I want versus looking ahead. So that's a little bonus part that you can add in more for you than for her. Okay, so here we have some tunnel threadles using food. So nice. I like how connected she is to your hands, which is great. And she's doing a nice bend on the ground. She's not jackknifing herself. She's not putting a sharp bend in her body. She's going nice and soft through there, which is great. Good engagement there. Really love that energy. Nice. Good. Good. No problem. She's got a nice soft bend going around. Love the creativity of setting up the obstacles. Yes, good. Yeah, so she's reading this super nice. So now you could probably just start testing a little bit more as far as your motion goes. So instead of standing still when you threadle, put a little bit more pressure and start moving. So you're actually, she feels you cutting behind her before she goes around. So as soon as basically you give your threadle cue, you can start cutting right behind her. And that will really help you when you add a tunnel into this, not having to wait till she goes in. There's a lot of dogs that will redirect and go back to the other end of the tunnel when you start putting pressure on it. So engagement's super nice, like the anticipation there. She was pretty loaded. And that's really going to be the big thing for her, is making sure that before we send her, like, she's got that tension in her body. Because if she sends like that, she was too relaxed when you went to go send her. So she just didn't have that punch forward. It was just kind of like, it was a marathon start versus the sprinter start. That one was a bit better. So there she was actually in the run. We just really want to teach her to accelerate when she moves forward from a standstill, which is going to help your overall power out of course. It's going to help your turns. And definitely power off the start line as well. Good. But her understanding of the threadle cue looks super nice. So she's not having any issues with that. Again, I would just tend to move. So right there, start to move already so that she gets used to that pressure. I don't think it's going to bother her. Like, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, but you never know. So it just gives you that safety net that when you're doing it on an actual tunnel, you don't feel like you have to wait for her to go in before you start moving to your next position. Which can help you get to where you need to be on course. Good, nice engagement. And again, just want to put little pauses in there. So we're not going from trick right to going. I like to just put that little bit of tension to teach them to power a little bit more. Okay, so here we're moving on to tunnel threadles with the toy, which is great. Like her speed coming out of it. Yeah, I like the regrip there because she actually came into you a little bit more, which is nice. So the toy is definitely getting her arousal level up. Nice. Good. And then I would just make sure you're giving a little bit more release, because the toy is very much, when you're tugging with her, it's like a constant pull. So what you can try is do little pulses with the toy to engage a little bit more versus just pulling back all in one motion. Right, so it's like constant movement. So give a little bit and then pull back. And I find that will keep them a little bit more engaged, because it's not like we pull harder and harder and harder, and then they kind of like regrip a little bit. Nice, good anticipation. That was perfect. So really like how much you tensed up there. And she read it right away, which was awesome. That's exactly what we want. Good. Nice. Same thing there. So that's exactly what I was talking about in the previous video, is just adding in that little bit of a pause, because she's really responding to that. And even here, like, her whole body is like tense and ready to go. That one, I love her body language on that repetition. Like, her ears actually went back a little bit, and you could see that she was so ready to go, which is great. We want to put that into as many of our repetitions as we can. So there she glanced around. So I just want to go back for a second. Oh, not that far back. So right there, 1 second back. There. So when you go to send her, she's actually a little bit disengaged. And I know that's hard to see in the moment, much easier. It was even hard for me to stop the video quick enough to show you that. But that compared to the one before is going to have her a little bit not as driving around, right? Whereas the one before that, she was like really engaged, really tense through her body. And that time she was a little bit more distracted, just to show you the difference. Okay, so here we're working some disengagement from the treat and train. Again, I love the stare. She's so obvious about that. So nice here. Okay. That's it. And the more motion you can put into your rewards when she comes back, probably the better, just to add a little bit of reward stacking to that. So because just the fact that the foods come out of the crack machine, that was nice, tends to automatically make it more valuable. So I'll either play with the value that I have, or ideally work with the motion like you're doing there, which is really good. Good. Nice. Good. Yeah, so she's staying with you, no problem. That was a good send. And the reconnect back. And again, for any of the dogs that really love the treat and train, I just make sure that I'm adding a lot of excitement when they come back from it, because they do have a tendency to get a bit stuck. But she's actually reconnecting with you pretty quick there, so I do like that. She's not getting completely fixated, which is awesome.